You've tried to change many times. You started strong, you felt motivated, you believed this time would be different. But then you went back to the old habits, the old thoughts, the old you. Why does this keep happening? This is the answer. His name was Rahul, 29 years old, office worker. Rahul had tried to change his life at least 10 times. He'd wake up one day full of energy. This is it. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to work out. I'm going to stop wasting time. For 3 days, he'd be a new person. Waking up early, exercising, working on his goals. He felt unstoppable. But then, day 4 came. He'd sleep through his alarm, skip the workout, go back to scrolling. And within a week, he was exactly where he started. The same routine, the same habits, the same life. Every time he'd tell himself, I just need more willpower. But it wasn't about willpower. It was something deeper, something he didn't understand yet. One evening, Rahul was scrolling through his phone. He saw an old video of himself from 5 years ago. Same job, same routine, same complaints. 5 years, and nothing had changed. He felt something break inside him. How many times had he promised himself he'd change? How many fresh starts had failed? How many times had he gone back to being the person he didn't want to be? He thought about all the versions of himself he'd tried to become. The disciplined Rahul, the healthy Rahul, the productive Rahul. They all lasted a few days, maybe a week. And then the old Rahul came back, like gravity pulling him down. He didn't understand it. He wasn't lazy, he wanted to change. But every time he tried, something pulled him back to comfort, back to familiar patterns, back to the old self. It was like fighting a shadow. No matter how hard he ran, it followed him. The next day, Rahul went to visit his grandfather. The old man was sitting in the garden, watering plants. Rahul sat down next to him, silent, defeated. His grandfather looked at him. You look like someone fighting a war. Rahul sighed. I keep trying to change, but I always go back to who I was. His grandfather nodded slowly. He pointed to a small plant in a pot. Do you see this plant? Rahul looked. It was a young sapling. I planted this a month ago, his grandfather said. Every day I water it. Every day I make sure it gets sunlight. He paused. But if I stop, even for a few days, what happens? Rahul frowned. It dies? No, his grandfather said. It doesn't die immediately, but it stops growing, and slowly it goes back to how it was before I cared for it. He looked at Rahul. Change is not a one-time event. It's a daily practice. Rahul stared at the plant. His grandfather continued. You think change means becoming a new person, but that's not how it works. He touched the soil gently. Your old self isn't your enemy. It's your default, the version of you that exists when you stop trying. He looked into Rahul's eyes. You don't go back to your old self because you're weak. You go back because you stopped watering the new one. That night, Rahul couldn't stop thinking about the plant. He realized something painful. Every time he tried to change, he treated it like a destination. Once I become disciplined, I'm done. Once I build the habit, I won't have to try anymore. But that's not how change works. Change isn't something you achieve. It's something you maintain. He thought about all his failed attempts. He'd start strong, but after a few days, he'd think, okay, I'm changed now. I can relax. And the moment he relaxed, the old patterns came back. Because the old self wasn't gone. It was just quiet, waiting for him to stop watering the new version. Rahul understood now. He wasn't failing because he was weak. He was failing because he thought change was permanent. But it's not. You don't become a new person once. You become a new person every single day. The next morning, Rahul didn't make grand promises. He didn't say, I'm going to change my life forever. He said something simpler. Today, I'll water the plant. He woke up early, not because he was a morning person now, but because today he chose to be. He worked out, not because he loved fitness, but because today he decided to. And the next day, he did it again. Not because it was easy, but because he understood. The new you doesn't replace the old you. It needs to be chosen every single day. 6 months later, Rahul's life looked different. Not because he had one big transformation, but because he showed up every day. Some days were hard. Some days he wanted to quit. But he didn't treat change like a finish line anymore. He treated it like watering a plant. He learned the hardest truth about change. You don't go back to your old self because you're broken. You go back because you stopped choosing the new one. Most people think change is like flipping a switch. One day you're lazy, the next day you're disciplined, forever. But that's a lie. Change is like a garden. If you water it every day, it grows. If you stop, it doesn't disappear immediately, but slowly, quietly, it returns to the wild. Your old self isn't something you defeat once. It's something you choose not to be every single day. The moment you stop choosing, the old patterns come back. Not because you failed, but because you stopped watering the new version. Right now, you're probably frustrated. You've tried to change before, and you went back, and you think there's something wrong with you. But there's not. You just didn't know the truth. Change is not a destination, it's a practice. You don't become disciplined once and stay that way forever. You choose discipline today, tomorrow, the after that. You don't become confident and never doubt yourself again. You choose confidence every single day. The new you isn't permanent. It's a decision you make every morning. So stop asking, why do I keep going back? And start asking, did I water the plant today? Because the moment you stop, the old self returns. Not because you're weak, but because that's how change works. It's not a one-time event. It's a daily choice. Make the choice today, and then tomorrow, make it again. If this story touched you, like, share, and subscribe for more stories that help you understand yourself and keep moving forward.